Howdy. Welcome to Single Black Man from Des Moines. My name is Al Simon Jr. A little about me: I was a dog handler in the service. I worked in retail, healthcare, and libraries. I also taught Hapkido for over 20 years. And now I'm a fledgling writer. From time to time, I'll read some of my pieces, both fiction and nonfiction, and also I might retell some jokes I've heard. I post stuff every week, so please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to purchase my works, I have some things at Smashwords, or email me at al_simon@hotmail.com, and I'll send you a complete list of my works and the prices. The story today is a short story called I Love You But. First of all, Gina was not my cat. She was Melba's, my landlady. She waited a month after her other cat, Chester, had died. He was 15. Melba was 85 at the time. I was her tenant. We met at a senior citizen center. I once mentioned needing a new place to live. I was living out of my car at the time, but there was no need for me to tell her that. Her dementia was noticeable even then. However, after being with her for nearly 2 years, her condition considerably worsened. We saw Gina's picture in an ad on Craigslist. We made the arrangements and met outside a Target and made the transaction. Again, Melba paid for and wanted to have a kitten. On the drive home, the baby, as Melba would continue to call her, was on her lap. I've been told that cats pick their owner, so imagine my surprise as I roll over in bed later that night. There's Gina. Twice that night I had to stop myself from rolling on top of her. It did not sit well with Melba that the baby slept with me the first night, so the next night Melba moved a litter box, water, and a food dish into a room before she went to bed. That only lasted one night. Melba complained the next day that the baby had kept her up most of the night, and she moved out the litter box and dishes. We came up with the name Gina because Melba wanted to name her Jean from her middle name. I didn't much care for that. It just didn't seem to roll off my tongue. I suggested Gina, seeing how it phonetically encompassed her name. Not that it mattered. Gina was always the baby to Melba, mainly due to dementia, I'm sure. I asked her once did she even know Gina's name, and she gave me a blank look. After that, there was no need for me to bring it up again. Gina was Melba's cat in name only. I took care of both of them. I shopped, cooked, and took care of their medication. And Gina knew what time it was and who her daddy was. She got locked out of the house at one time. Prior to this, we never let her out because she wasn't fixed yet. My bedroom faced the rear of the house. Melba mainly sat in the front. I hear this racket outside my window. It's Gina trying to claw her way into my bedroom. First of all, I was wondering how she got out. Second, I was amazed that she knew where to find my room from the outside. She created a sizable hole in that screen. From that point on, especially after she got her bikini wax, I'd leave the window partially open so she can come and go as she pleased. I don't really recall when her idiopathic aggression began. I've always been around cats, and I used to like to watch Jackson Galaxy, so I knew what the condition was. And it seemed like I got the brunt. Most times I could see it coming. Her eyes would dilate, she'd flatten her ears. She wasn't declawed, and more than once she'd kick my ass. As I write this, about 4 years later, I can still see faded scratches on my legs. And again, that was when I could see her coming. I mentioned that, ironically, I was her favorite. She'd show affection by taking my face in between her paws and licking me. Yeah, that part sounds sweet, but simultaneously she's digging her claws into my face, and then she moves her paws like she's steering a car. And that was how she showed her love for me. Lucky, I guess. More times than I can count, she'd attack my head. I felt claws and once her mouth. To ward these off, I usually threw a blanket over my head. She'd jump on the covers a few times and would eventually walk off. The vet we saw said that maybe she was taking from her mother too soon. She recommended a necklace that was supposed to soothe her. No, it didn't. Plus, by this time, Gina was coming and going, so she'd lose a lot of necklaces and flea collars. So I bought one of these medicated collars, cut it up in quarters, and placed them around the house, and I also bought a plug-in. None of this stuff worked, and none of this was cheap. After all that, I came to use two things. Three if you count cursing. Since I would throw a cover over my head for the night, I would throw a towel over her. Whatever I had nearby, a shirt, a pillow, all I had to do was drape it once and she'd get the message. That's not to say that she wouldn't make at least 2 attempts. And if she was just having an especially bad day, like, say, coming from the vet, I'd have to grab her by the scruff and hold her slightly askew so she wouldn't claw me, and then I'd put her outside. I also had to shut her window so she couldn't get back in. I'd open it maybe an hour or two later, especially if I heard her trying to come in. I won't say Melba got off scot-free. Compared to me, hell yes. In the mornings, when Gina would hear Melba get up, Gina would run and, from what I understand, would assault Melba's feet as she walked. Along with dementia, Melba suffered maladies accustomed to seniors, such as arthritis. That being said, she didn't walk fast, so Gina had a field day. I'd lay in my bed and chuckle as I heard Melba chastise her and threaten to kick her out. I didn't really get up to look because, hey, that's your cat. I never had any kids. No jokes, please, about the ones I didn't know. But I can imagine how a parent can love someone who can be a pain and also an irritant. As Melba's dementia intensified and it was becoming obvious that I wanted to move but couldn't leave her in a lurch, Patty, Melba's housekeeper, began to plant a seed with Melba. You know, that cat's so independent, I wouldn't be surprised if one day she ups and leaves. By this time, I was waiting for Melba's son to put her in a care facility. I was sleeping outside in my car, but during the day I would go in and check up on her, but at night I'd always sleep in my car. Patty came once every 4 weeks. She knew I was getting ready to leave, so she had me put Gina in a carrier, and she took Gina to the ARL. I wasn't overtly mad at Patty, but I wasn't happy with her either. She did this on her own accord. Granted, Gina was Melba's cat, but I was taking care of her. As half mad as I was with Gina, I wasn't ready to let her go. Just yet. And don't kid yourself. If I knew that I wouldn't be living in a car, I would have gladly taken her. I've posted pictures of Gina on Facebook, and I still have an old Android phone with a cracked face with her pictures in it. It's the only reason why I kept it. That's the end of the story. As a side note, like I mentioned, I was living partly in my car and taking care of Melba. But once Gina was aware that I was in the car, I would find cat prints all over my roof of the car and on the windshield where she was trying to get in. So again, I guess that was another sign that she was affectionate and cared for me. All right, to close again, I've got stuff on YouTube. I'll be posting stuff once a week. If you want some of my material, I've got stuff on sale at Smashwords, and you can also contact me at al_assignment@hotmail.com, and I can mail you stuff directly. You just take care of me by PayPal. Let me end this with a story. I've had a vasectomy so as not to have kids. When I got home, they were still there. All right, let's get out of the ghetto. 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can go. I owe my soul to the company store. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.